Welcome. In front of me is a POCO F8 Ultra, and today I will show you how you can go through the setup process of this device. So, when you boot it up for the very first time, you should be presented with the same screen that you can see on my end, which is the Xiaomi HyperOS. Now here we just want to click on the arrow, and this will allow us to select our desired language from the list of all kinds of different languages. Now I'll be choosing English right here, and we can go to the next page, and here we can choose our region. I'll be sticking with Polish, not because that's where I'm from, but actually for this idea that I would not want to select any other region that is not very favorable to consumers, such as, for instance, anything UK based. Now, just a little backstory, just to kind of explain where I'm coming from and why do I want this, why I go out of my way to even not fall for under this if this is a possibility, is, for instance, God forbid you call someone a faggot in UK, right? That's already pretty bad. I mean, not really, but for UK it's like a heinous crime. So that's already, pretty bad for you. And furthermore, UK recently has been some time, tried to force one of the companies, I don't remember if it was Apple or Android, to basically give them backdoor access to other people's devices through system side back access. So imagine that everything that you think is nice, secure on your iPhone or wherever, your government has literal access to it for no freaking reason other than to be a creepy pieces of shit. And basically consider you a criminal till proven innocent. Now, that's not really how law works, so I have a massive problem with that, and I prefer to select other regions that don't have this bullshit ideology. And this kind of thing has a little bit more meaning, considering if I'm outside of UK and I select that on my phone, I would hope that at that point this device isn't spying, or this government doesn't have access to it, which I still could be wrong. But furthermore, you might not hear about this because, let's be honest, last time they tried to push this kind of thing, we only know about this because the company decided to not do it and they kind of went public. But if they did allow them to later on, they can't say that, because that's one of the things that they will be forced to do, which is keep quiet about it, because God forbid you would know that your device is not secure and your government has access to it at any point. That's why Graphene OS is actually a pretty decent system. You can just completely tell piss off to your government, know your effing place, and that's about it. And they can't really do much about it apart from considering you automatically a criminal, which if they're spying on you already, they already do that, so not much has changed. So anyway, I'm going to be selecting Poland just because it's in the European Union and we do have pretty robust customer or just general laws for us instead of companies. So let's be honest, we're not US, so we're not sucking the dong of all the corporations under the table while telling you that, we are so for consumers. So Poland is pretty good in this aspect. And moving on, we have terms and conditions. Now you can do the same thing that I do, which is not read a single word of this, just select that I have read and agreed to it, as we all do, and move on to the next page. It's not like it ever will matter. Now, next thing is going to be this. So here we can set up using another device. Now this is a very vague terminology and it's a very bullshit kind of garbage system to do it. What this is doing is it's going to copy over from your older device, your Google account, and then it's going to move over anything that is stored cloud-based from that account to this device. Now it's not actually moving it, it's just downloading it if it has to be downloaded. So for instance, when you have contacts stored on Google account, that just kind of gets resynced, not downloaded. When it comes onto applications, any application that is downloadable through Play Store, and that's how you have downloaded that said application, it's going to start downloading on this device. Any app that is outside of Play Store, Google doesn't give two shits about it. You can download it yourself again. Because God forbid you ever did something outside of their control. which they try to prevent us from being able to even do that. So, you know, take that with as you may, but anything that is outside of Google sync pool, so outside of their knowledge, you can deal with yourself, basically, because Google will certainly not give two shits about it in a feature that's supposed to be designed to move over the data. Now, don't worry, there are better ways to do this instead of this piece of shit, so just select skip. It's absolutely useless anyway. Next, we have insert SIM card. So we have active eSIM or activate eSIM, and we can just pop in a physical SIM card like this one. If you're planning to use an eSIM, you will need to get a QR code for that eSIM, and you will also need internet connection. I'm not planning to do that, either SIM card or eSIM, so I'm just going to select next. And here we can connect to network. This step is optional. We can connect to any kind of Wi-Fi, or we can just do that also through SIM card or eSIM, or you can just skip it, which is what I will be doing. Now, by skipping it, you won't be able to get software updates, get software updates, set date and time automatically, and sign in to Google account or Xiaomi account. So, something to know. Now, here we have the option to select a screen lock, and we have several different ways of going about it. We have the screen lock options, which consists of PIN, pattern, or password. And we also have fingerprint and face recognition. Now, if you're planning to use the finger or face recognition, just know that these two options are biometrics. And as biometrics, they're not always 100% reliable. And your phone might sometimes get a sissy fit about unlocking it because, God forbid, you got a tiny little blemish on your face or your finger, and it refuses to recognize you now because, oh my God, you look like a completely different person now. So because of that, the phone will also force you to select PIN, pattern, or password for that, unreliable times where the phone just, has a mental boom because your finger got scratched. And therefore, you can just unlock it using PIN, pattern, or password. Alternatively, you don't need to protect your device at all. You can just skip this altogether, which is what I'll be doing, but I wouldn't recommend doing that on your end. Your phone stores a lot of your personal information, including probably things like your bank applications that are signed in and so on. So it's very beneficial to you to try to protect that as much as possible in case you were ever to lose your device. Now, this is a phone that is in the company, no one is actually using it like fully, so it doesn't matter. Now, moving on, we have Google services, and we have things like services like location, scanning, and sending user and diagnostic data, along with a new one, install updates and apps. Now, you can turn all of those off, but don't think for 1 second that you're turning them off. Just because the toggle is off doesn't mean shit. And I want to also point out that for some reason, install updates and apps doesn't have the option for you to turn off. Interesting. God forbid I have control over what kind of piece of shit Google forces on my phone. But anyway, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. So, when it comes down to things like location, even though it's turned off and it says that it won't be basically using things like Wi-Fi access points to know your location and the GPS tracking, it's still going to use other means to triangulate where you're located, and it's still pretty freaking good at doing that to a very scarily accurate area. And it's going to be doing that through other people around you. Well, don't you feel safe and unlocated? Because I sure shit don't. So it can do other things like, for instance, triangulate your position through Bluetooth, cellular data, and so on. So you don't actually turn off a location, and you never can in reality. Your phone doesn't have a single moment where it's not actually being tracked, even when it's off and even when everything is turned off. The only time you just gonna, it's gonna stop tracking you is basically when you just grab it, take a hammer, and bash its freaking brains out. That's when it's gonna stop tracking you. But even then, I would be kind of sketched out, to be completely honest. So that's one thing. Moving on, we have scanning. So wow, it's not going to look for Wi-Fi signals and Bluetooth or whatever. This all means absolute F all. Last thing is send user and diagnostic data, which is very rich considering it connects to other devices. Therefore, it's sending user and diagnostic data to other devices to triangulate your position without your permission. So wow, cool. You turned off an option that doesn't do anything. Great. I should say allegedly. Anyway, last one is probably the most bullshitty one, which is the install updates and apps. You don't have the option to turn this piece of shit off. And even when you do, which technically you can turn off like automatic system updates and so on, this isn't covering all of it. That's why there's no toggle to turn it off, because that will kind of make them legally liable, I'm pretty sure. So there is a background process on Android called OTA Update Services, I think it's called. And that piece of shit basically, without your permission or knowledge, installs any kind of updates that Google want to push into your device. You never see any kind of progress of downloading or anything like that, so there's nothing you can stop. As long as you're connected to the network, it's going to do it in the background without you even knowing about it. And this is how Google, when they decided to before, for instance, remove the ability for you to install third-party applications because security, and probably think about the kids, they were going to push it out through this bullshit. So even when you turn off auto updates on your device and you're not getting like the newest Android, this garbage ass feature would still be crammed onto your device without your permission. Just because Google wanted it, so you're gonna have it, and tough shit if you don't want it. And the only way you can actually prevent this from happening, like any kind of forced updates like that, is to basically delete this background service, the OTA update ones. But that would make your device basically not get even the security updates, which are designed to, well, secure you from any kind of vulnerabilities of Android, which are constantly new ones found. So they're constantly to update it. So just know that this is kind of the outcome. You can technically get rid of this, but you leave your device vulnerable. Honestly, at this point, I'm very close to doing that myself, just because I sure should trust the viruses that will be pushed onto my device from scammers more than I trust Google themselves. So, you know, or again, alternatively, you can just use things like Graphene OS and you're good to go. Now, with that being said, to add to that, even when your device is past its kind of life cycle, when Xiaomi won't be giving you any kind of new updates to security or even Androids, or I should probably say it differently, or even to security, as usually that is supported longer. Don't worry, Google, whenever they want to, they will push whatever update they want to prevent you from using the device the way you were able to before, if they decided to. Like with those third-party applications that they wanted to previously block it. Don't worry, this is still kind of happening. It's just kind of, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So we're supposed to be grateful that they will still allow us to do it, but in a much more annoying way now. Well, I feel so much safer now. It's not like Android already has antivirus or anti-malware here. And if it's not working too well, maybe instead of preventing me from being able to install third-party application, you fix that shit first. And look at your Play Store too. There are plenty of malware applications in there to begin with. So anyway, we're going to move on and disregard this. I kind of did hang up here a little bit. Now here we have some basic settings. Now some of those basic settings seem like things that we have already dealt with, like location, which we turned off. Send user and diagnostic data, which we also turned off. And the worst one of all here, which we didn't turn off, is the personalized ads. This is basically bullshit that's going to spy on you, see what you search for, what you talk about, to give you relevant ads based on that. Do you feel nice and secure about this? Because I sure as shit don't. It sounds like a absolutely creepy, disgusting, like a stalker-like feature. So we'll be turning that off. But I want to point out, when you try to turn it off, unlike the other options, this piece of shit comes up with a window. Whoa, are you sure you want to turn off this great feature that literally spies on you 24/7 to give you relevant ads? Yes. And you might be automatically thinking, yeah, I'm going to press the blue button, which is usually the confirm to an action that you were trying to take. Well, we have some dark patterns happening right here, and they decided to flip this bullshit the other way around so you can get confused about it. So let's turn off right here to actually disable this garbage ass feature. Now there's some other options in here as well, but the personalized ads is the worst one. It's literally AIDS. So let's move on to the next page here, which is parental control. You can set it up if you want to. If you want to, you probably know. So just go through it. Next, we have font settings. So there are two fonts, and they're basically, to me, looking almost identical, with one being just a little bit bigger than the other one. So I'm just going to keep it at the default one and move over. And here we can select our default launcher. We have classic one and updrawer. Now, I personally like the updrawer, which selected by default. Okay, that's neat. So you can choose whichever one you want. I also want to point out a neat feature about the updrawer here is that it has at the very top categories, which applications that you download get automatically sorted between those categories, making them much easier to locate whatever application you're looking for later on if you have a lot of them. Instead of scrolling to them alphabetically, you can just select category like communication, and you will have things like, you know, all the social media along with messaging apps, and just makes it super easy to find whatever you might be looking for. Next, we have navigation. We have gestures and buttons. I do want to point out gestures right here doesn't have too many options in the settings, and even less right here, but you do have circle to search here. So if you want to use that, you can select gestures right here, move on, and you use circle to search by just holding the bar at the bottom. Moving on, we have recent layout. So just two different ways of seeing recent applications. I actually like this one, so that's what I'm going to stick. They're just more visible at a time. And this finishes up the setup. So just give it a moment. It should pop up with a button. Any moment, come on. There we go, all set. And here's our home screen. One thing that I wanted to show you was the application to move over your data. And we should have one under somewhere here, I believe. System apps. Oh, there it is, MiMover. That's what you're going to be looking for. You will need to download this application on your other device. Unless it's a Xiaomi device too, then it already is installed there as well. And just move it or download it, open it up, and this will allow you to connect two devices together and move over data from one phone to another, making it super easy, and you have much more control of what you can move, which will include the applications themselves, not like, you know, re-downloading them, but it's actually going to move the application, including the ones that are downloaded from third-party stores or any other locations. This will also allow you to move over things like messages, contact or call logs, and so on. So it gives you a little bit more control, actually a lot more control of what you can move. So highly recommend using that for moving over the data. Now anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.